guys, how's it going? Thought I'd start off with a little loop. I got a new loop pedal, so I'm thankful for that. So I'm just gonna talk about things I'm thankful for, and I'm thankful for all you guys watching. So I hope everybody's having a happy Thanksgiving. Navix, thanks for joining. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. And basically, I've got a show coming up tomorrow where I'm playing guitar. And I'm playing guitar and singing, and I usually use the loop pedal for those shows so I can add solos to it. So I ended up having to get a new loop pedal, but this one has a little bit more limitations than the other loop pedal I had. So I figured out that I could use a piano sustain pedal to get around those limitations, so that I'll still be able to gig the same way that I was before. So I just thought I'd show that off a little bit, maybe talk about it a little bit, and then just play some stuff for you guys, answer some questions. Let me know how the audio is. If it was overdriving or anything, just let me know. Yeah, so it's basically just the sustain or damper pedal, whatever you want to call it, for the keyboard. But yeah, cool. Thanks for letting me know that the audio is good. I appreciate that. So before I had a Digitech loop pedal, and now I've got the Boss one, and this is the cheapest Boss loop pedal, the RC1. And there's some things that are different about it that make it harder to play a show with, but it's still a really cool pedal, and it's still really helpful. So, but it has a couple things I have to get used to. So one thing that's different about it is when you record the initial loop, you click it once, you play while you're playing, you click it again. And then on my other pedal, that would just stop the recording process, and boom, you'd have one loop. And if you wanted to record again, you'd hit the pedal a third time. Here, it automatically records. So you have to immediately jump into it, which is a little bit trickier. Hi, Pamela. Very cool. That's awesome. Do you know what Cubase you're getting yet? But anyway, back to the loop pedal while she's answering that. Basically, it has that it automatically records, and then that automatic recording is really cool if you're doing something back to back like that. But you have to kind of like hold, you have to if you're trying to loop continuously, you'd probably continue playing after that first loop. So like it's automatically looping that, and then your transition won't be as smooth, and you'll end up with like a doubled track unless you're literally ready to jump into the next pedal. So so basically it's a little more difficult for that reason, that it automatically records, because there's some times where you don't want it to automatically record, like when you want to do a single loop and then solo over it. So what I have to do then is I have to hit the pedal a third time and hold it down to remove the loop it just recorded. So that's a little bit different. And the sustain pedal allows me to stop the loop for like the end of a song, or if I wanted to play something else differently. And that the reason I have that on there is otherwise you have to double click really fast. And if you're trying to groove and double click at the same time, it'll probably mess up your playing unless you're just really good at it. And I think it would take me several days to get used to that. So having that extra pedal allows me to just do a single stop, and I can delete things that way without it playing. And Navix, I did see the thumbnail for Davey playing underwater, but I haven't checked it out yet. So I'm looking forward to checking that out later. But I did see the thumbnail. And then, hello, where did you buy this ukulele, and can you slap it? So I got this one at Uke Republic, which I'm thankful and grateful to be only like 10 miles away from a ukulele store that carries U-basses and everything. But it's just a few miles down the road from me, basically in Georgia. So they're in Austell, Georgia. I'm a city over from there. But basically, they have a whole bunch of different things, and all the Kalas that I've bought through them. And then I bought these flat wound strings through them as well, because they just happen to have them there. So it's kind of nice being able to like check it out before buying it and everything. And as far as slapping, this one has the flat wound strings. You can slap it, but they're not the best for slap really, but they're pretty cool still. I have too much low end in here. Turn the volume down a little bit. you can slap on them. But yeah, the round wounds are probably the easiest to slap on. The rubber strings you can also slap on, but they have a totally different vibe when you do that. Cool, cool. So Pamela says, I'd like to know your thoughts on the proprietary rubber versus round wound versus flat wound strings. I have a whole entire video on that almost has that exact title. I may have put the flat wound strings first in there, but yeah, the round wounds are cool on the Journeyman. I like the flat wounds the best, but yes, I do a comparison between all three of them. If you search for it, I'm probably like one of the 2 or 3 videos that'll come up for that. So if you literally just search what you typed in there, the rubber versus round, I did versus with an S on it. It's like VS. But I did do a comparison video between all 3 of those. I used this one for the flat wound strings. I had my Wanderer back here with the rubber strings on it. And I have an exotic mahogany view base that's outside of this room right now that had the round wound strings on it as well. And this one originally had round wound. So if you're curious about how they sound on the Journeyman specifically, look for the review video that I did on this one before changing the strings. Okay. But yeah, so hopefully that helps a little bit. They're different in a lot of ways. I feel like slap is probably better on the round wounds. And then these are kind of like, to me, these are like the good middle ground strings, right? So you have like, the best thing about the flat wounds, you have the ability to slide. And you don't have to worry about it like pulling the string along and making the note sharp or flat. So that's one big advantage to these. But there are advantages to the other ones too. So basically the rubber strings sound the most like an upright bass, and the round wound strings feel more like the electric bass. So if you're used to coming from the electric bass, there's that. The noisiest strings are the round wound strings. I think the least noisy, I would probably go with the flat wounds as far as the least noisy, although it depends on what kind of rubber strings you have on there. So hopefully that helps a little bit. But yeah, the upright sound is really cool. I agree, David, that that's an awesome sound. But these ironically feel more like upright strings unless you have gut strings on your upright bass, in which case the gut strings do feel more like the rubber. But most people have, that I know of, have the flat wound strings on their upright basses. Cool. So anyway, I have this loop pedal so that I can do shows with it. And the cool thing about it for bass is when we do a bass groove, we do want it to record immediately and jump in so that it's automatically recording for the next thing, so we can start the next part of the groove right away. So that's different for me than with the guitar, because with the guitar I'm just looping one track usually to solo over it. But here I want to create an entire groove. Awesome. Very cool. Congrats on the ebony Kala. That's awesome. I'll have to look at that that deal. That sounds really good. The ebony is probably one that I want to get a fretless ebony and put flat wounds on it. That's kind of one of my goals in the near future. So I may want to look at this. If you've got 45% off, I mean, if it's off the price that I think it's off of, that would be good enough for me to want to jump on it. So who knows? But yeah, that's a really good one. I have the ebony tenor by Kala, which is, just a ukulele, a tenor ukulele, but it would match that one really nicely. So I was thinking it'd be nice to get those to match. Oops, have both of those. Okay, so I'm gonna do the loop pedal a little bit, and I'm just gonna like create a groove. It's kind of cool. Last time I did the modes, so it'd be kind of cool maybe to give an example of the modes. So real quick though, Benjamin, I really do like the Journeyman. It's really awesome. I like it with the flat wound strings a lot too. But yeah, it's been pretty good to me. I can't complain about it at all. Okay, so I'm just gonna go through and I'm gonna make a mode for the a loop for the Ionian mode. So it's gonna be like a major scale. It's gonna sound kind of happy, I guess. like a little like hi-hat kind of thing maybe. There it is. And then I'm gonna stop the recording and just kind of play along with it. Actually, whoa, I could add a little like chordal thing. So now I've got that, I can just play over it. So that's kind of something you could do. And notice, sorry, I like using the volume knob to fade out, so then I can delete the loop like quietly. But see how that sounded really happy and all that stuff? It sounded like kind of really just positive vibes, happy kind of thing like that. That's what the Ionian mode or the just normal major scale would sound like. So I'm just gonna give examples from what I did last week, but I'll continue to answer questions and stuff in between too. So yeah, David, part of the reason that things can sound so big through here is the amp, right? So it's something about the type of pickup, the piezo pickup picks up the vibrations, and there's something about the strings, you know, with the rubber strings, the reason they sound like an upright, they have this like resonance, you know, and it just picks up that vibration. You can amplify it a whole bunch in the amp. Sounds redundant, doesn't it? But I think with the flat wound strings and the other ones, it kind of gives it a unique quality because the strings have a nylon core and it's almost like a kind of hollow kind of thing. So it just gives it a different vibe. It's really interesting, the kinds of sounds you get out of these different strings. But that would be like the Ionian modes. The Ionian mode sounds real happy and stuff. So I'm going to do one on Dorian. Dorian to me sounds jazzy. So I'm going to do it in G Dorian so that I'm a little bit lower on the bass so that when I play higher, there's more separation between the sound without me having to change the EQ very much. All right, so now I got to figure out if I have a groove in mind. Okay, something like that maybe. So we got that. So Dorian's a minor mode, so I'm just going to do like a little G minor chord up here somehow. Okay, so now we got our groove. So what makes a Dorian is that I'm playing, basically it's a minor scale with a raised sixth note. So like raised six. And then I'm just playing different notes from that. But I'm resolving to G a lot, and that kind of helps a little bit. So it's kind of cool, all the stuff that you can do with that. And it sounds, to me, it's sort of jazzy, and there's a reason for that. But just for now, just know that that's why. That it's just kind of a jazzy mode. Right. So the cool thing is, like, when you stop the loop pedal, which right now I'm having to use a separate sustain pedal into this one. Since this only has like a single pedal, you have to double click it really fast if you want to in the loop. But it has this extra little cable jack for a external pedal. And I found out that just by trying it out, I didn't know it would work, but a piano sustain pedal, like one you can buy for probably $20 or less or something. If you switch the polarity the opposite way, or I don't know if you call it the polarity, but if you switch the pedal backwards, then it basically works as a good stop switch for the loop pedal. So that way I didn't have to get the more expensive one that has two pedals. I could just buy the separate pedal a lot cheaper and do that. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, so that's the Dorian mode. That's a cool little groove on that. Then Phrygian kind of has a totally different sound. So you said that's not a $20 sustain pedal? I think this was like $13 or $15 or something. This one? You can look it up. I might be wrong. They might have raised the price, but I think when I bought it, it was like 13 or something. But it's for a piano, and you can buy it. And it was one that I bought after the fact because the one that came with the piano, I think it was just not a good sustain pedal or broke or something. Damper pedal, sustain pedal, something. But it was pretty cheap. The prices may be a little higher than I'm thinking they are now. But when I bought it, it wasn't very expensive. But you might be able to buy the even cheaper ones where it's just like a little square block. You might be able to buy those and use them with this as well. This is just what I had already. Okay. Anyway, I don't remember it costing very much. You can look it up and correct me if they're not that cheap anymore. But that is the idea. So Phrygian Mode. Phrygian Mode's a minor mode as well. It has a flat second note. So it's like if you're playing a minor scale, but you flatted the second note, which means brought it down one fret. The rest of the notes are the same. So I'm going to make a Phrygian groove. I might use the notes down lower too, but I'll try to come up with something interesting for it. That one slap's gonna be a little bit out of time, I guess. It's kind of funny. You know what? I don't like any of that loop, so I'm just gonna delete it. There we go. Ooh, it didn't line up perfectly. We'll go with it anyway. But anyway, it's got that kind of vibe. So hopefully that kind of gives you an idea of the Phrygian mode. And this is just kind of like expanding on what I was talking about last week, just giving you examples. So if you want to check out more about each mode, you can kind of look at last week's live stream. Okay. Okay. So we've got that one. Then Lydian is really cool. It's like a major scale with a sharp 4. So it's like what you'd use for The Simpsons or any other ones. And Pamela, I've not played the bamboo U-basses yet. I really look forward to getting a chance to. I'm going to say this, though, that when you plug them in, the tone really is going to matter more about the strings and about the pickup more than the type of wood. So it might affect it a little bit, but the majority of what you're going to notice is really going to be the strings and the type of pickup that's being used. So I don't think it's going to make a huge difference on the tone, just because these strings are kind of picked up by that vibration there. So it's really just more about what the strings are doing. Could be wrong, but it's probably going to be similar to another U-bass with a similar type of pickup, is what I'd imagine. Now, acoustically, they're so quiet that you probably wouldn't need to worry too much about that either. I imagine it'll sound pretty similar to any other U-bass. You could check some videos. I'm sure someone else has played them to see if they're any different, but I just have a feeling they're going to be very similar in sound. Okay, so the Lydian Mode. What kind of feel do I want on there? I might just do like a quarter note thing or something. Okay. Key did I do this? I think I did in G. Okay. Kind of has this like almost airy kind of floating sound. So that's kind of cool. To me, it kind of, a lot of times it gets used for like things like The Simpsons. I don't know. I'm playing a little bit wrong, but you get the idea. It has that Simpsons or the Jetsons kind of vibe. But you get the idea. So it's kind of like it almost makes you feel like it's a floating kind of vibe, like you're floating away, almost atmospheric or something. So we've got that one. Then we've got Mixolydian, and to me, Mixolydian has a bluesy sound. Why not? I'm just gonna randomly do it on A instead, just to have a different kind of like vibe. So it doesn't always have to be bluesy, but it's where our bass lines like this come from. And that's a major scale with a flat 7. So I'll try to compass some sort of Mixolydian vibe. Okay, so we did an A. What can I do here? key I was in for a second. I did it again. There you go. Right, so that's more Mixolydian. To me, it has that bluesy vibe just because of like bass lines you play over it. But when you play melodies on it, it has almost like a space kind of vibe. So not quite like an airy, floaty sort of a thing, but it just makes me think of like, I don't know, a spaceship or something for some reason. But to each, to whichever sound you think it kind of goes with. But to me, it's either bluesy or kind of space themed or something. I don't know, but that's what it makes me think of. So the next mode is Aeolian Mode, and that's just the straight up minor scale. So nothing super crazy there. It's just the minor scale. So let me think if I can come up with something kind of cool for minor. Sounds like a hip hop kind of thing or something. Oh, what key did I just do that in? And it in G. But you can either use minor to sound sad or to sound almost like dark and like kind of creepy sort of, but not super like that. I think they're worth it personally, but upright bass strings end up costing about $200 for flats and $200 and above. So I'm also used to spending more money on strings, but to me they are worth it. To answer your question, yeah. And I like to do the fade out. But yeah, having a loop pedal is a lot of fun. It never gets old to me. All right. So that's pretty much all of them. The only one left is the Locrian Mode. And the Locrian Mode is just always going to sound a little bit like dissonant and kind of crazy because it's based off of a what's it called? Diminished kind of sound. And that's true. A felt pick can change your sound, more clarity and volume. I don't necessarily want all that though. Sometimes, and I'm typically not using a felt pick, but I've used just a normal pick. You know, just normal plastic or whatever they're normally made out of. And basically, when I do that, it sounds more like picking on a flat one bass, and it sounds really good. I'm not sure as far as that's kind of cool. The loop pedal recommendations for Black Friday. I haven't looked them up. I ended up getting this one because it's the cheapest loop pedal already. So if you can find some place that has a discount on everything in the store, this one was just like $100 or something. It was pretty cheap. And then maybe you can get the external pedal so you can stop it easier, because there are some little quirks to this pedal that make it a little bit less gig friendly if you're going to use it for a show. But for this kind of thing, it works great. So the fact that it automatically records works better for this kind of thing, but it doesn't work best for some other things. But yeah, I haven't tried the felt picks, but I have tried other materials. In fact, do I have a pick in my pocket? I was playing guitar earlier, so I might. Let's see. Nope, no longer in the pocket. Not on the desk either. I'm not sure what I did with the pick, but I had one earlier. But yeah, you can get a brighter tone if that's what you want. But I don't necessarily want the brighter one for everything. Leather picks. I've never tried a leather pick before. That's interesting. But yeah, leather, felt, those kind of materials would probably be cool. Yeah, there's some videos where I played like a roundabout on this U-bass, and I used a pick for that one to be able to do that without having to use my thumbnail like that. And it's kind of cool because you do get a stronger attack, and sometimes that's what you want, and sometimes I kind of like that softer kind of that the fingers allow, a little softer attack. The other cool thing about playing, just a kind of random thing. Oh, you love Yes? That's cool. I did a version where I did ukulele and U-bass. So if you go through my channel, you'll find one where I did like some of the melodies on ukulele, and then I did the bass line just the way it kind of normally is. And I did a shorter version since there weren't words there. So yeah, check out the roundabout one if you get a chance. That one was fun. And then Jacob says maybe test with double bass and uke. Are you saying like going back and forth between that? I have video on that as well. I have one where I did it with the fretless, where I checked the fretless bass ukulele with that one. And I don't really recommend this brand, by the way. It's got a few issues. It plays fine when you plug it in, but there's some like random buzzes and things that I'm still working out how to get rid of them. But I have done like upright bass versus U-bass. I think I've done it with the metal strings, the rubber strings. I know I've done it with the flat wounds and the rubber. I don't know if I've done it with the round wounds. But yeah, definitely check those out if you want an idea of the difference. I even tried bowing the different strings. You can bow the flat wounds, although getting the angle is really hard, so you can really only bow the G string or the E string, and mediocrely at best. And then if you try to do the same thing on the rubber strings, it doesn't work at all. So it does work on the round wounds, it does work on the flat wounds, but it does not work on the rubber strings, just for the record, if you're trying to bow the bass, the U-bass. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. So someone showed my Navik showed my channel to someone else, and he knew me from doing that one roundabout video. That's nice. I'll take it. Very cool. But yeah, there's a whole video on that. I never posted the ukulele part, but it's because there were two different things going on, and the way I tried to tab it out just didn't really pan out. So I never posted the ukulele part. At some point I might go back and do that, but it's a big time thing that takes away from doing U-bass videos each week. All right, so Locrian, that's where we were at. So Locrian is a minor scale with a flat second and a flat fifth. So this is a minor scale. No, it's not. That is. But we're going to flat the 5th note, and we're going to flat the 2nd note. And that's a Locrian mode. Very dissonant sounding. Oh, I kind of like that. I'm going to do that. I can't remember what it was. Yeah, that's fine. I don't think that was quite what I played. It's way too loud on that attack. I might take it away just to get that. Okay, let's try it again. That's not what I want. I'll add it 2 separate times. It's very dissonant. Hit a wrong note. It's hard to tell in this mode, though. Something like that. It almost does have that 60s spy kind of vibe. I don't think they used Locrian that much, but maybe it's more the rhythm and just kind of what I thought to do with it. I was trying to pull from like more of like a metal kind of sound, but like metal music, but without distortion. It just doesn't really have that quality, and I wasn't really playing like super fast or anything. Keep wanting to hit the 5th, but it's a flat 5th in the scale, so it's just kind of hard to stick to that one too, because it's just so kind of a-traditional to what you're used to hearing things sound like. But yeah, so that's that one as well. So let's see, does anybody have any other questions on here? First of all, just things that you're curious about with the U-bass, anything of that nature. Any questions about those modes that I just went over? Like, those were the different modes of a major scale, basically. And I was just picking random ones to play. They weren't all in the same key or anything. But basically, the Ionian Mode is like the major scale, and it just sounds pretty happy. The Dorian Mode sounds jazzy, and it's a minor scale with the raised 6. The Phrygian Mode is going to be the minor scale with a flat 2nd. And that kind of has almost like Spanish guitar kind of vibe. But then after that one, there's the Lydian Mode, which is a major scale with a sharp fourth, and that's like the Simpsons theme. It's kind of this floaty, kind of atmospheric sort of thing. Mixolydian is where our blues bass lines kind of come from, so that's a major scale with the flat seventh. Aeolian is the minor scale, so that one's just straight up the minor scale. That's all it is. And then Locrian is the minor scale with a flat second and a flat fifth, so that one's really weird and dissonant sounding. So hopefully that helps a little bit. All right. I'm not sure if I've seen Rob Scallion's Fretless bass jam. I've seen a lot of his videos, but maybe not that one. But that's cool. Okay, so the U-bass has different pickups. So basically, let's see. I don't have my exotic mahogany in here, so that doesn't really help. They're kind of similar. They both pick up the sound the same way through the vibration, but they have different controls. So this one, the UK 500B, well, I guess that's the name of the tuner or something. But anyway, but that pickup that's in here, it has 3 separate knobs for you to change the tone around with. So you have the high, mids, and lows. The more expensive ones have this pickup called the shadow pickup. And while it has less separation between those things, like you can't just pick high, middle, or low, it has one tone knob where you can turn it one way and it's very bassy, the other way and it's really treble heavy, and kind of in the middle it's a good balance between the two. So that's different about it. And it's on the more expensive stuff. I don't know if it's really a better pickup. It's just a different pickup. I don't really know how to describe the difference between those two. I'd really need 2 that were otherwise set up the same, with the same strings and everything to really compare them. To me, they all sound pretty good. So that's it. A happy Thanksgiving. But yeah, so I know I didn't really help too much, but the different pickups have different abilities. So this one has more ability to adjust things individually, but I think the other pickup has maybe a more pleasing tone overall for most people. But it has less ability to separate out those frequencies like that. So I don't know if that helps a lot or not, but it's still really good. So I don't know I don't know if one's really better than the other. They just have like different options with them. Okay. So yeah, so there's that. So any other questions on here? These are the flats. They're very smooth, right? So very good for sliding. So these are the flat wounds. They're a lot of fun to slide on. Yep. They're okay for harmonics. But honestly, the round wounds are a little bit better, and they project a little bit better on the round wound strings, although they're doing pretty good today. Can you want to name that song? I would say that yes, you would want to have a truss rod on any bass ukulele that you're going to put the flats on. I feel like these have a lot higher tension, definitely than the rubber strings, but I think even higher tension than the round wounds. So also that's a good question. If someone's comparing the different strings, if you have wrist issues or you know that your hands tire out really easily from pushing down, you probably would like to stick to the rubber strings. And I also have a cheaper one. At some point, I'm going to try putting the flats on this one that doesn't have a truss rod as well, because I really wanted, my overall goal was to have a bass that looks a lot like an upright bass and feels a lot like an upright bass. So I wanted to have the strings be similar to the ones I have on my upright bass too. So at some point, I will put flat wounds on here, but I have a feeling it might break it. So I've kind of been trying to make all the other videos that I want to with this, just on the off chance that it can't take it. But even if it's able to hold them, it could be different for different builds, So if somebody used a stronger wood or a stronger glue or something, then some of them might be able to handle it and some other ones might not be able to. but I don't know. Let's see. Is an acoustic bass justifiable? Not on a U bass, a full acoustic guitar body. So I have a video comparing the two, and there are some depths of tone that you can't really get out of the U bass because of the short scale. There's just like certain frequencies that aren't supported quite as well as on a full scale acoustic bass. But for me, there wasn't really any purpose for that. And you have certain strings on there. So like I had the round wounds on mine when I had one, and so they've sounded really similar. The U bass with round wound strings versus the full body, full sized bass, acoustic bass. And for me, I like the portability more than that extra slight depth of tone that you might get out of certain things, or the evenness of the frequencies across the whole thing. Oh, wow. That's a good bass. Getting one of the Sterlings, that's awesome. Those are good, especially if you want to do slap. Those are really good for slap. All right, so let's see. So hopefully that helps you with the acoustic question. I think there can be an advantage to certain tones, and just like sometimes the EQ just it projects better in all different ranges of the instrument, if that helps, rather than some notes being louder than others. Okay, so let's see. I can use what doesn't break as parts for a solid body. You could. Okay, so let's see. What else we got? Pro Bass Buddy said to get a U bass rather than acoustic regular bass. For me, it's just the big, the super big advantage of having the U bass over the full scale electric bass is if you're trying to get the upright sound, you have those rubber strings. And those rubber strings are going to give you a tone that the metal strings aren't going to give you. So if that's your goal, then I think a U bass is more up your alley. I don't know. There might be a manufacturer making full scale rubber strings for that size of a bass, but I haven't seen them. I've seen tape wound strings and I've seen flat wound strings for them, but maybe I'm not even sure if the flat wounds were really for acoustic electric, but I'm sure they exist. But yeah, so that's a little bit different. Yeah, and then the other advantage is playing acoustically. Like if you're jamming with an acoustic guitar player and you don't have an amp with you, yes, it's going to be much better for that. However, low frequencies really don't push that much without an amp. So even then, if the guitar player is strumming really hard, it'll work, but I don't know if it'll be quite as good. And then, hey, Jay Fish, how are you doing? Great request last time. I enjoyed doing the Tortoise song. That was fun. Okay, so let's see. Hey, the only motive I can think of is for looks because they aren't that loud. Yeah, if you're trying to play it completely acoustically, you probably want to get the full scale one. For me, I never really had any situations where that was what I needed. And there were a couple times where I jammed with the U bass with the round wound strings, and the round wound strings do project enough to jam with like an ukulele acoustically, or even with a guitar if they're not strumming really loudly. If they're strumming lightly, it would still be good. Okay. Cool. And awesome. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, by the way. And then Andre from Argentina. That's awesome. Very cool. Wonder how many different places are represented. It's like we have 12 people in here. I wonder how many different areas, even areas of the United States and places from everywhere else. Very cool. So we got Canada, Argentina. I know we got a few people in the U.S. Chile. Okay, wow. That's so cool. And then Georgia. Yeah, I'm also representing Georgia. Robert's not very far away. Ohio. Very cool. Seattle. Cool. So it's like it may only be 12 people. We're representing a lot of different areas. That's awesome. New York. Wow. So we've got all these different areas of the country represented, and then areas of at least North America. Awesome. It's global. Yeah. International. The international stream. That's awesome. So, cool. Very, very cool. So I think I'm going to make up another loop. What if I ask you guys for like a style? So since y'all are watching, and I really appreciate you guys watching, I'm really thankful for you guys. So we got some slap. Okay, so we have a request for slap. Does anyone want to give me a little bit more information about something to slap over? You could give me a key. You could give me a mode if you liked the different modes I was doing. So I'll do some slap on this. So now I think that would lend to funk mainly. So what kind of oh, very cool, New Jersey too. So what kind of G Phrygian? Okay, so we want Phrygian slap right now. Slap canon. Okay, well that's not gonna go with Phrygian, so we got to figure out Phrygian versus canon. I guess I'll save the canon for something else. But for now, I'll do the G Phrygian slap groove. All right, so let's see. I forgot I was going to loop. I'm going to kill that loop. Problem with slap is it's hard to like solo over. Turn it down a little bit. Something like that. I don't know. Cool. So there's one. And then slap cannon was the other request, right? So that's interesting. Oh, and New Zealand too. Wow. This is really cool. How many different places are represented? I like that. So all over the world. This is awesome. Cool. I should play better for you guys since there's like everybody represented. But yeah. So slap cannon. There's actually a Blues Traveler song called The Hook, and I believe the bass part does some slap in there, and it's the canon progression. I'm going to answer this question first. So let's see. I bought a U bass in the summer. Haven't played it much yet. We'll play it more after I move. Should loosen the strings so that there's not much tension on them while it isn't being played. I think if they're the metal strings, you might want to. With the rubber strings, I don't think they put that much tension on the neck to begin with. I wouldn't worry too much about it. But if you have some sort of metal strings on there, they put more tension, and probably so. It wouldn't hurt anything to loosen the strings, but I don't think it's putting so much tension that it should make a difference, unless it's like a really cheap quality. So hopefully that helps you a little bit. Okay. So canon slapped. don't know. It's kind of boring with that pattern. Let me think. I'll just do it like that. I forgot I was going to loop automatically. This chord still has a short with that. There we go. Yeah, you know, all that stuff. Hit the wrong button to stop it. So having those two pedals, I have to double click on one of them to stop it, and I have to click just once with the sustain pedal to stop it. All right. So thanks. That was a good request. That was awesome. All right. So let's do another one where we just name a style and then a key. So pick a style, pick a key, and I'll try to make another loop with it because it's just kind of fun, you know. And if you have any other questions, just leave them here. If I missed any, let me know. It's hard to find room on the U-bass sometimes. It's from fret to 10th fret. Yeah, you can stretch pretty far on here. You said from the 3rd fret to the 10th. Can I go further than that? No, 3rd to 10th is about what I've got too. Unless I use my thumb and cheat. I can get from the 3rd to the 12th, but it really hurts. So it's not worth doing. Yeah, loopers are a lot of fun. Funky in E minor. Okay. And then reggae and A. I think I'll do both. So I'll do funky in E minor first, and then I'll do reggae and A after that. Okay. And then J-Fish wants some bends in there. Okay. Funky in E minor, maybe with some bends on that one. So let's see. Okay, I kind of like that. Maybe I'll do it down low though. I don't like that. sloppy, but it's okay. Sloppiest groove of the night. Sometimes it's hard to get everything in time with the loop pedal, but it's a lot of fun doing that. So that was an E minor groove, a U-based version of Schism. All right. I might do like a second of it or something. I feel like I should have it picked, but I'm just going to use my fingernails, I guess. I'll come back to the reggae. Cause I watched them fall away, mildew and smoldering, fundamental differing. I don't know all the words. Skip around. I'll just do that much of it. Cool. I mean, there's more to it, but I didn't tune down to drop D before starting, so I would have had to do that first. But yeah, so it's a lot of fun playing Schism. That one's a really fun bass line. I like the part after that, though, the part that's like, I'm going to tune to drop D just to do it, just for the heck of it. So what I'm doing right now is just matching the pitch of the harmonic up here to the D string, and you can tell it's still a little bit out of tune. I think that's kind of enough. There's a part that's like, that whole part, that part's really cool. Guess I didn't have to do drop D to do that, but that's okay. Right there, what I'm doing is I'm using harmonics to tune. But once I'm close, I'm just going to double check it with the tuner. I said, did I really get it that well? And the answer is no. The A string was actually already out of tune in the first place. So even though I got the E string back up to pitch, everything else is actually just a tiny bit sharp. All right, so reggae and A is the next one, right? Every time I hear like reggae and A, I think of stir it up. So I'm going to try to make it not like stir it up. Yeah, harmonics help a lot. The reason I think that they're a easier way to tune is that most of us hear the higher frequencies better, and we can hear the differences in the higher frequencies better. So in general, even as bass players. And so when you do the harmonics, you can feel them kind of like it almost sounds like they're wobbling when they're not in tune. And then when that wobble becomes more steady and then it all of a sudden becomes just like one continuous sound, you can tell that you're in tune. And then, of course, the tuner helps too. Okay. So reggae in A. Okay. I'm just going to have to like, let me give it a downbeat to have the downbeat in here. I gotta come with a bass line. And then reggae usually has the bass drum on B3. It's supposed to be a bass drum, but it sounds like a snare. And something like that, sometimes when the snare happens. Let's see. Alex, have a good one. Have a good Thanksgiving. Thanks for hanging out. Probably busy enough, right? So much. Why not? Let's give it an A at the end. Cool. So that was a really good request. Yeah, sometimes doing reggae and A is just a lot of fun. It's really straightforward to do. For anybody that wants to know kind of how to do that, I started with a basically I started with the upbeats of the chords. So I was doing little 2-note A chords, which is 7th fret on the D string and 6th fret on the G string. And so I gave myself a downbeat at the beginning. I hit 1 click so that I knew where the downbeat was, although I didn't really have to. If my foot hit the downbeat and those were upbeats, I could split them to find it. I just did that just to make it a little simpler. And then I was just doing that 2-note pattern. So that's the root and the third, which is the 7th fret on the D string, 6th fret on the G string. And then I moved that pattern down a whole step. And we were talking about the modes earlier. Basically, I was playing an A Mixolydian the entire time. And so that's what I was thinking. And that's how I came up with that, that kind of vibe there. So hopefully that kind of helps a little bit. But yeah, and was it Spherical Cheese? Thanks for stopping by. Love the name. I think I saw you on one of the last ones. I think you caught one of the other ones. Or did I just catch your comment after the fact, maybe? No, I think I remember commenting on it during the live stream. But good to see you again. And then I want you back. Yeah, I have a video where I kind of go over the intro. I had one note wrong in it. So something is shorting out. Let me get a little more volume. There we go. I like playing up here more. See, it has more distortion by accident. Dun, 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 dun. And I like the bridge. It starts with this little. Then it goes. And it goes back into the other part. So that's all the different parts of the song, just to kind of give you an idea. That was a lot of fun to play. And it actually sounds pretty good on the flat wounds here. I noticed that you said it was distorting a little bit. So I was hoping it wasn't. But if I turn the volume down a little bit, is it still distorting? Because I'm trying to have it not distort. It's still distorting. I mean, there's a little bit of a buzz going on, but the sound is still distorting. That's kind of a bummer. It's better, but still, no. I mean, the battery probably is low, but it's pretty clear over here. So if it's sounding like overdrive or distortion through there, it's something about the microphone. So what if I turn the volume down on the microphone? Does it still sound like it's distorting? Does that sound better? Because it should not be distorting. I have a feeling it's the microphone that's making that happening. So I try to turn the gain down on the microphone, and usually I have the there's like a I must have just had it up too high, honestly. I have it set to the wrong thing on there. That's probably part of it. Okay, cool. Yeah, when I was asking at the beginning of the stream, I was hoping that somebody would tell me if it was distorting, but I didn't know it was distorting the whole time. So that's kind of a bummer. But yeah, hopefully that's better, and if not, I can play even quieter. I think at the YouTube thing tries to like adjust the volume, and it adjusts it the wrong amount, and so it comes out a little bit distorted. but the bass itself is not distorting over here. So that means all those grooves earlier when I was playing with the loop pedal were distorting. Well, that wasn't the goal. So let's pick a different one. Yeah, if you hear it overdriving, that's not on purpose. So it's usually the microphone. So if any time that it sounds like there's overdrive on something, let me know, because I want people to get a really good idea of what the basses sound like when I'm demonstrating stuff for you guys, so that way it's not that people don't think it just distorts, because that's not really the idea. It's something wrong with my microphone. But yeah. So hopefully that helps a little bit. So is there another style, another genre that you'd like to hear a loop? Okay, it wasn't bad. It was just periodic. That might be something wrong with the connection or something. I'm not sure. Weird. That's good to hear. Maybe I accidentally turned it up at some point. I'm not sure. That's good to hear that the loop sounded good. Blues in E. Okay, I can do a blues in E. Oh. Well, that's a different distortion. That's a different problem. Oh. There's a chord that I use that has a short in it. So sometimes when I hit it too hard, it does that. I'm glad it still sounded good with the distortion. Thanks for letting me know, though, guys. We'll just go with it anyway. So I did some of the chords a little off, but that's okay. Awesome. It's a lot of fun. Very, very good. Very good request. Blues and E. Okay, so hopefully it's not distorting. Hopefully everything sounds good. Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Spherical Cheese. What a fun name. And a nice little avatar picture to go along with it. Awesome. So something like an upright would do, like fever. I don't really know the part in fever, but I guess I could do something like that where I have the notes. Something like that. I don't know if I like that extra loop. Oh, I didn't realize I started right there. Kind of cool. Something, I don't know. So somewhere in between fever and spoonful, and I think I did like the watermelon man thing in there. Watermelon. So I kind of mixed those things together by accident, just kind of trying to remember how fever went. So it wasn't really fever, but every now and then I would try to throw in fever. You know, there's that part. I don't remember the bass line for Dancing Queen. I used to know it, but I don't remember the bass line now. But that's a good one. It's a good request. I'd have to like listen to it and see if I can do that without without breaking copyright, laws about the recordings. So let's see what happens. If I can find it on Spotify or something, I can listen to it really quietly. Maybe that will work. Then after that, it might be time to call it. I can't remember what the baseline is for that though. Let's see. All right. Let's see what else we got on here while it's loading. Watch Watermelon Man, but some of the solos I see for the chord progression are kind of ridiculous. Yeah, there's some very crazy out there solos. But yeah, Watermelon Man's a cool one. I feel like I had to play this at a wedding, or it was on the list and we just didn't play it. It's a lot of A, basically, where it's going back and forth. Oh, that's where it goes to 6, right? So it'd probably take me too long to get that one right, but there's a lot of this, like, and there's some sort of walk back into it, but it has a lot of really cool stuff in there. I don't know anything. It's Too Late by the Jim Carroll Band. I don't know that one at all either. And then, yeah, of course, gotta do the hardest song in the history of the world, right? And what is it? The bass really is just going. So I mean, I guess I could kind of do the one note bass line underneath the guitar lick or something and make it a little bit harder. But yeah, it's kind of fun. I wonder if I could like strum it. Okay, that's actually kind of hard to do when you do it that way. But yeah, sorry I couldn't do Dancing Queen justice or the Moody Blues. I don't know. I don't know any of the Moody Blues bass lines that well. I played one song with some people. I'm trying to remember what the name of the song was, but it just had some cool little walk downs in it. It was like in D minor, and it had some cool little things, but it wasn't Ride My Seesaw. I don't know that one. So the cool thing about this particular setup with the flat wound strings on here is you can get a lot of different tones out of where you play on the instrument. This is true with any instrument, really, any bass, anything, but you can get some cool tones. I really like playing like right over the neck here. Like you get this really cool kind of. And then if you play over here, you get a totally different tone, and somewhere in the middle, yep. So you get a different attack out of each spot, and you get a different amount of low end in each place. Hey, Brian, let's see what you got. Where do you adjust the action on that U base? Okay, so adjusting the action is kind of tricky. One way that you can adjust this side is with the nut. You can either file down the grooves, or if you can get it to unglue, you could probably file down the bottom, although I'm not sure if it's hollow or not, so I'm not sure if that one works as well. It probably works. It's probably solid. Then on the other side, you can actually take this whole pickup assembly out. So you take the strings off, you take the pickup assembly out, and there's actually an insert underneath there that you could sand down if you wanted to bring the action down. So it's a complex thing that you can do there, but you could do that. And it's not the saddle, it's underneath the pickup. There's like a piece of plastic, at least there was in the other bass ukulele when I tried to fix the pickup. Basically underneath that it had a piece of plastic, and I think that was there to raise it up a little bit. So they have that there so that you can probably sand it down or replace it with a thinner insert to lower the action. So that's kind of the answer. So I hope that helps you, Brian. The song It's Too Late is an old punk song, and even if you don't like punk, it's very cool. I'll have to check it out by the Jim Carroll Band. Cool. Okay. I'll keep that in mind. Now I'll probably look it up sometime soon. If I forget, you can check in with me and ask me if I checked it out yet. Well, guys, I want to thank you all for hanging out and just kind of chilling with me on Thanksgiving. I'm guessing some of you U.S. people maybe just needed a little break from the family, or you've already kind of hung out with them enough. And for everybody around the world, just thanks so much for tuning in. It's been a lot of fun today, just getting to play for you guys, jamming out, and playing some of your requests. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. And very cool. Yeah, as far as Uke Republic, Robert. Yeah, I mean, I got all this stuff there. And when I actually went to put on the flat wound strings, I did it at his shop, but I did it because I had to move quickly, and he gave me a round file to help me file down the groove and the E string. So he was very helpful, even though at that particular time I was deciding to do the work on my own. So that was cool. All right. Yeah, Mike's awesome. Long time watcher. Oh, thank you, Dorito and the Lucha. I love your name. That's pretty funny. Oh yeah, Dorito. Wait. Are you friends with another YouTuber? I think I know you through Victor, maybe. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Victor Sane, possibly. But yeah, cool. Good seeing you on here. And then so much positivity in the chat. All right. Thanks, you guys. And thank you all so much for watching all the time, for being supportive. I couldn't do it without people, watching. So I appreciate that a lot. I'll have more videos coming for you. Obviously, on the Tuesday, I've got just the normal video and more live streams on Thursdays. Very cool. Well, thanks for checking it out. Thanks for hanging out. And I will see you guys next time. Be safe. If you're visiting with family, have fun. Just be grateful that you get a chance to. I got to Zoom chat with my family. That's kind of what we decided to do because of the, just what all is going on in the world and everything. But yeah, I will see you guys later. Have a good one and have a good week.